Welcome to another Ace Combat 7 video, and as you can tell from the title, we're going to be talking about what needs to be buffed and nerfed in Ace Combat 7, particularly in the multiplayer mode. And before we begin talking about what needs to be buffed and nerfed, I want to say that I believe all the aircraft in the game are perfectly fine how they are. I know everyone and their mama uses the F-22 Raptor, but some planes are going to be better than others. I don't think they need to be balanced or anything like that. This video is going to be focused on the weapons rather than the aircraft. So we're going to be talking about what needs to be nerfed first, because I think that these weapons are just way too overpowered. Number one, the Quick Maneuver Air-to-Air Missile, or the QAAM. The QAAM is one of those weapons that I kind of think takes the fun out of dogfighting and multiplayer. And I know this missile in particular is supposed to have really good homing capabilities, but when a missile does a 360-degree turn twice and then kills you in one hit, I think it's a little too overpowered. This missile actually reminds me of the Ace Combat 7 announcement trailer back in 2015, where the Su-27 or whatever it is gets behind the F-22, and the F-22 just fires like 3 or 4 missiles that do a 180-degree turn and kills the Su-27 that's behind it. Everyone thought that was kind of ridiculous. That's what this missile basically is. It's that you can only fire 2 of them. It's really unrealistic, and I know Ace Combat 7 is far from realistic, but it's a no-skill weapon. It really is. You don't need any skill to get a kill with this weapon, and that's why I think it needs to be nerfed. Either it needs to have a less aggressive homing capability or less damage. And I hope the folks at Bandai or Project Aces or whoever's in charge take notice of how much destruction this missile is doing. Next, we have the electromagnetic railgun. This is another one of those weapons that kind of takes the fun out of dogfighting. Now, unlike the QAAM, the EML does take some amount of skill to use properly, and because it is a railgun, I think that the whole one-shot, one-kill thing is perfectly appropriate for this weapon. What's frustrating is going up against someone with an EML is the fact that it can be switched to and used so quickly it's impossible to dodge. And I think an easy solution to making this weapon less frustrating to go against is by making it to where it has to be briefly charged before it can be fired. Similar to how in story mode of Ace Combat, when you go up against Mihai, Mihai has to charge his railgun before he can shoot it, and it makes a cool sound effect when he does it. This will give players an opportunity to change their flight pattern and possibly dodge the railgun attack. And as far as nerfs go, I think that those are the only 2 weapons that need a serious nerf. So next we're going to be talking about what needs to be buffed. Number 1, the TLS laser. The reason why I think this needs a buff is pretty simple. It's really difficult to keep an enemy plane directly in front of you for a long period of time. The laser simply doesn't do enough damage. And yeah, it's kind of effective against targets that are already damaged, but it's a freaking laser beam. You should be able to take a plane out of the sky just by using your laser beam. Making it a little stronger is kind of all I asked for on this one. It's just really weak. You could hit the enemy like 6 or 7 times directly with the laser and they still won't go down. The next thing that I think needs a slight buff is the SAAM missile, or laser guided missile as it used to be called in other Ace Combat games. This missile should have the best homing capabilities than any other missile in the game. Why? Because you need to keep the enemy jet in your sights the whole time. If an enemy jet manages to evade, then I expect this missile to do a 180-degree turn and try again, as long as you still have the enemy in your sights. And I fail to understand why the QAAM has a better homing capability than this missile, because this missile can only be used at long range. There's no way you could use it up close, because it's very difficult to keep an enemy in front of you when you're in the middle of a dogfight. And that's why I think this weapon needs a major buff. So really, I think those are the only 4 weapons in the game that I think need a serious change. If you could think of another weapon that needs a change, let me know in the comment section. If you think I'm totally wrong and everything needs to stay the same, let me know. I want to know your thoughts. And thanks for watching the video.
Combat time's up. Congratulations. You guys won.